Good day, my dear students. I hope you are all well and safe, staying at home. My dears, I am back to present another lesson for you guys, and I hope you enjoyed the previous one and watched it and did all your homeworks. Guys, now I would like you to open up your reading and writing book and go to page 118. Okay, go to page 118. Guys, we didn't do activity E. Okay, last time we stopped here. This activity, it says answer these questions with information from the article. Okay, as you all know, we read an article. You know, this was the article. Why do people love their cities? Okay, so our job is to answer these questions about that article. The first one, which city is the best in the world? So according to the article, it is Vienna. Vienna in Austria. Austria is the country. Vienna is a city in Austria. This city is the best in the world. Okay. Number two, what do people do in public spaces? Okay, what do people do? What do you and other people do in public spaces? They sit, okay, they eat lunch, they relax, they call up their friends, and they hang out and do different activities. Guys, I did the first and the second ones, and it is your job to do the third and the fourth one. Okay, so this is your homework. Think about the questions and then you can answer them. What can add beauty to a city? Okay, think about it. Number four, what does openness mean? Okay, so you have to go back to the text and make a definition of openness. So we are done with this. Go to write what you think section. This section. Guys, this section says, write 3 cities or towns in the chart. Okay, this is the chart. Then give each city a number from 1 to 5. Okay, number 1, that means very bad. Number 5, very good. For each characteristic in the chart. For example, I chose Suli, Erbil, and Kirkuk. Okay, in Kurdistan. And these are the characteristics. Places for social visit. We have so many places of social, activities. Okay, you can do in Suleymaniya. In Erbil, okay, we don't have, that much. We don't have that many places for social visits. This is just an example. Okay, in Kirkuk, also there are very good, places for social visits. And about beauty and openness, you can, fill the blanks. Okay, write down 1 for very bad. For example, the beauty of Suli is very bad or very, good. Write down 5 or write down 1. This is how you do this exercise, just like me. Okay, guys, now I want you to go to the next page. Okay, guys, for activity B, this one, which of the cities do you like the best? This is a question, okay? And why? Number your favorites from 1 to 3. Look back at your quick write on page 115. Is that city better than these? Why or why not? Okay, guys, we have 3 cities. The first one is Malmö in Sweden. The second one is Tokyo, the capital of Japan. And the third one is New York. Okay, this is a festival, in New York City in the United States. Which one do you think is better than the other one? Okay, for example, number 1, in my opinion, this is my opinion, New York is a better city, than, Malmö in Sweden. And, Malmö in Sweden is better than Tokyo. Okay, this is my opinion. Okay, I want you to use your opinion and pick your favorites. Okay, and the important thing is, why do you choose New York, for example, as your favorite? Why? For me, for example, I like, the beauty of the city and the openness of, the people. And there are a lot of places for, doing social activities and hanging out, restaurants, cafes, and many other places. Okay? I hope you got the idea of this one. Now, we have a new subject, which is building reading fluency. Reading fluency meaning reading without stopping or without difficulty. Okay? Reading easily. That is, reading fluency. Reading fluency means how quickly and easily you read. It's important to increase your reading speed. Okay? Here are 2 ways to build your reading fluency. We have 2 ways. Okay? Number 1, you move your eye across each line and down at the article, meaning like this. Down at the article. Keep your eyes moving. Do not stop for words you don't know. Guys, this is very important. You don't have to stop for, the words you don't know. Number 2 is remember. You don't have to understand every word in an article. It's okay if you don't understand some, words. The first time you read, look for the main idea. So you have to read it 2 or 3 times. The first time you look for main idea. The second time you read and pay attention to details, to the information inside the article and the vocabulary. Okay? Sometimes you need to read an article 3 or 4 times. Okay, 3 or 4 times. Each time try to read it more quickly. Okay, when you read something several times, you can increase your reading fluency. Okay, that's why we have a exercise here. It says, guys, it says, so start reading, and you have to read an article like this. This article, for example, 3 times. Okay, thrice. But each time, okay, set the clock for 30 seconds. Okay, 30 seconds, meaning half a minute. Okay, 30 seconds. And so you have to write down number 1, number 2, and number 3. For example, see, look at this. I started reading, and when the 30 seconds finished, okay, I stopped here. That's why I wrote, number 1, because this was my first time. When the second time I read, I continued reading for another 30, seconds, all the way from the beginning. I stopped here. That's why I write 2. When the third time I continued reading, I stopped here. Okay? So that's why I wrote 3. Guys, I want you to do this practice, and the benefit of this practice is it helps you to read more quickly. Okay? For example, the first time you read until here, but the second time you read until here. The third time, when you start from the beginning, you read until here. So this is for you to increase your speed, to increase your fluency. Okay? So this is the idea of this exercise. I want you to do this at home. This helps you to be better readers. Okay? And guys, let's turn the page. Okay guys, now we have activity B. As you can see, we have a box here. There's a paragraph in this box, and we have 9 words, okay, missing from this paragraph. Okay, you don't need these words to understand the main idea. Okay, I want you to read the paragraph without stopping, okay, and see if you can understand the main idea of this. When you read this, okay, you go to these 3, optional questions, meaning with options, and you choose the best option. Okay, and this paragraph is about residents and tourists. Okay, it talks about the residents and tourists. I want you to read it, then you can answer these questions. For example, look at number 1. This article discusses dash. For example, B, in my opinion, tourists and residents. Okay, if you read the paragraph, you know that it talks about these 2. Okay, and we have 2 other questions. So after reading, okay, think about these. See if you can figure out the right answer. Okay. And guys, we also have our second reading or our second text. And you all know before reading a text we have a group of new words. And they are written in red, okay, and underlined. And our job is to read them and circle the correct definition. Okay, the correct definition of those words. Number one, there are many complaints about this restaurant. The food is not very good. So complaints is what? Comments from unhappy people. So this is the definition of complaint. In my opinion, the city lifestyle is wonderful and exciting. So what is opinion? Okay, that is the question. A thought about something. That is opinion. Okay. Number three, there are many international students at this university. Okay, we have two options. International means from different countries. Okay, so that is the meaning of international. I want you to read the other ones and think about, the correct definition, and use a dictionary if you have to. It's totally okay. If you use a dictionary, when you want to have a better understanding of the, words. Okay? Guys, we're done with this, so you know your homework. You do the rest. I did, the first three, and the other ones is for you. Guys, let's go to the text. Okay, our second text. Okay, guys, before reading the text, okay, on page 122, we have to preview the text, okay, as you all know. And for the previewing, it says, talk about Berlin in Germany together, okay, meaning in a group with a partner. Make a list of everything you know about Berlin. Guys, for this one, you can search, okay, you can even Google, okay, to, collect information about Berlin, okay, the city, the people and the appearance of the city, the beauty of the city and places, for like cafes and restaurants for social activities, okay, you can Google this, okay, and we have a quick write section. For this quick write, it says, why do you think some people may enjoy living in Berlin? Why do you think people like to live in Berlin? Use your opinion, and you can write down 3, points. Maybe the first point is because Berlin is a very beautiful and picturesque city. Maybe the second point, you may say people in Berlin, are friendly, and you can find people from many countries living in Berlin. Okay, and that kind of information. You can use, your brain, use your imagination, and you can even Google, okay, to find out that information. And let's go to the text. And as usual, you can see the sound sign. That means you can listen to the audio and reading it at the same time. First impressions. Impressions is an opinion you have when you first see something, or when you first hear something or someone, okay? You have an opinion about that person or that thing. That is called impression. Let's start. Some long-time residents of Berlin have complaints about their city, okay? Meaning they are unhappy with their city. Last week we invited some of our newer residents to give their thoughts and opinions. So we have 3 people, okay? 3 people who moved to Berlin, okay? And let's hear their opinion about Berlin city. This person is from Taiwan. I am from Taiwan and I moved here 2 years ago. I am studying engineering at Humboldt University. Berlin is very international, okay? That is its best characteristic. There are students and professors from all over the world. During my first year here, many students didn't seem friendly toward new people. I was shy at the beginning because my German wasn't very good. When my German improved, I tried to talk to other students more. After several months, I made a few good friends. Then I started to enjoy the city with my friends. My first impression was not very good. People seemed unfriendly and kind. But now I have a good opinion of Berlin and I enjoy studying here. This is Mai's opinion, and she studies here, Humboldt University. This is the picture of the university. Tala. Tala is from Philippines. I am from the Philippines and I moved here with my family 5 years ago. I really don't like cold weather. So at first I was unhappy. But people in this city don't stay inside in the winter. For example, last December, I visited the outdoor markets with my parents. It was cold and it was dark at 3:30 p.m. But the markets were so colorful, my family and I walked around for hours. We went to many shops. We enjoyed the beautiful lights. Everyone was outside having fun. When we were too cold, we stopped for a hot drink at a cafe. Later in the evening, there was a free event. On that winter night, the city was exciting. The next day, I went ice skating with my friends from the big outside skating rink. Skating rink is a place, where you can, do skating. Okay? There was a beautiful view of the city. Okay? Now I think differently about the cold winter months. And by the way, guys, this is the picture of, the outdoor cafe that she went with, her family. We have Pedro, another person, another new resident of Berlin. My first impression of Berlin was very good. This city really welcomes bicyclists, okay, those who, ride bicycle. And that is very unusual. I love biking, but it can be dangerous in a city. On my first weekend in Berlin, I biked all over the city. There are special red bike paths everywhere. This is the red bike, path. Okay, it's like a road. And they are very safe. I was really surprised. Also, I explored the beautiful city parks and gardens. By the way, this is the picture of red bike paths in Berlin, guys. Okay. And as you all know, after reading a text, okay, we have some questions to answer. So we will go straight to the questions. Guys, we have activity B. We have statements, okay, sentences. And some of them are true and some of them are false. So we have to find the true and the false, and then correct the false statements. I did 4 of these and you will have to do the other 4, guys. Look at number 1. Mai moved to Berlin 5 years ago. So if you look at the text, Mai moved to Berlin, okay, 2 years ago. So I write down F, that means false, and I correct the 5. Number 2, Mai didn't speak German very well when she arrived. That is true. Number 3, Mai doesn't like studying in Berlin now. Okay, so that is false. Mai enjoys studying in Berlin now. Number 4, residents of Berlin enjoy spending time outside in the winter. So we both know that is true. That's why I wrote T. And guys, the other ones, you will have to do the other ones. And just like, those, but depending on the text. We have activity C, okay. In C we have a chart, as you can see here. Guys, in the text we have 3 people. Mai from Taiwan, and Tala from the Philippines, and Pedro, okay. It doesn't say where Pedro is from, but I am guessing that based on, his name, he must be from, one of the South American, countries. And this chart shows their impression, okay, their first impression when they moved to, Berlin, and then later, their later impression, okay. Did it change? For example, my students weren't friendly. So this is her impression at first when she moved to Berlin. But later she found out that, the students are, friendly, and she has a good opinion of Berlin. later this was, her impression. What about Tala? Tala thinks she didn't like the cold weather at first, okay? But later, okay? Go back to the text, you can find the answer there, okay? Tala later, thought that winter can be very exciting in a very beautiful city like Berlin, okay? I want you to look for, Pedro's impressions, first impression and later impression, like this. Okay, guys, fill these blanks, because for the next page we will need this chart. We have two. Okay, guys, and based on this chart, okay, on this page, we have two questions here. The first one: which person had a very good impression, very good first impression, and why? So when you go back to the text, okay, for example, you say Tala, okay, and you have to also write down the answer. Why Tala has a good, a first impression about Berlin. Okay, you have to find the reason. These two questions are for you. Number two, for the other two people, what happened to change their impressions? Okay, for example, you may say Pedro, had a good first impression, okay, because the city of Berlin welcomes bicyclists, okay, and the other two people, Mai and Tala, something happened to change their opinion. For example, for Mai, her German improved, her language. That's why, she got to, like Berlin and people living in Berlin. So this changed her impression. And Tala, her first impression was that she didn't like the cold weather. But when she, walked around the city with her family, her impression, changed. Okay, guys, so there it is. I gave you the answer of the second, question, and you will have to find the first one yourselves. So we are done with that. Let's go to activity D. Activity D, guys, we have questions about the text. Okay, these questions, test your understanding of the text. Okay, your understanding about Berlin. For example, the first one says, I did the first two. The first one says, what did you learn about Berlin? Write 3 things. For example, I learned that it has red bike paths, okay, and people like winter in Berlin, and the city of Berlin welcomes bicyclists. Okay, I learned these 3 things. Number 2. At first, my impression of Berlin was not very good. Why do you think that was? What was the reason? In my opinion, because her German was bad. That's why her first impression was not good. Guys, use your mind and try to find the answers of these 3. For example, number 3, do you think you would enjoy visiting the outdoor markets in winter? Why or why not? Okay? For example, in Suli. Okay? How is Berlin similar to your city? How is Berlin similar to Suleymaniye, for example? How is Berlin different from your city? This is another question also. Okay? We are done with that as well. We have write what you think section. Okay, guys, we have write what you think section. Okay? As you can see, we have a table, and with our, 3 friends, Mai, Tala, and Pedro. So our job is what? Our job is that imagine that these people are coming to your city. Imagine they are coming to Suleymaniye. Okay? And we have 2 questions to answer. Where should you take this visitor? For example, where should you take Mai or Tala or Pedro? What can you show your visitor and why? For example, the first one, myself, I will take Mai to Halabja city. Why? Because she should see the monument of, the city, and she should, get information about the tragedy that happened many time ago in Halabja. Okay, this is my opinion. your opinion, may change. You may take Mai to Majidimo, and because Majidimo is a very exciting and interesting place, to go. Tala, you can take her, to Erbil Citadel, and you can, tell her about the history of Erbil Citadel and Erbil city, or you can, or you may want to take Pedro to Hazarmerd Cave, for example, and why? What is your reason? Why do you want to take Pedro to this place or any other place? I want you to write down the answers just like me. Please, write down the answers. Okay, guys, now go to the next page, 125. Discuss these questions with a partner or in a group, okay? We have 2 questions about Berlin, okay? You have to ask yourself or anyone around you that, may have the answer. Why do people like to live in Berlin? Why? Okay, we read the text. Now you have, more information about Berlin. Why do you think people want to live in, Berlin? What would you enjoy in Berlin and why? Okay, what would you enjoy in Berlin? Okay, this is totally, about you. For example, I enjoy visiting the famous universities. Okay, I enjoy eating lunch at the famous, restaurants. Okay, and that kind of stuff. This is my opinion. You can use your own opinion. For activity C, guys, we have what? So, thinking about the unit video, you know that each unit we have a video. So, that is on you. You watch the video and you get more information about that. We have reading 1 and reading 2, and we did all of those. And now we have to discuss these 2 questions. And we choose one of them. Okay, we answer only one of them. The first one, it says, think about the 3 characteristics of a good city. Which characteristic is the most important to you and why? We had 3 characteristics of a city, openness and beauty and places for social, activities. Okay. Second question. In your opinion, this is about your opinion. How can your city improve? What does it need to do? Okay. Give examples and suggestions. Look at my examples, guys. Okay. I chose the second question. For example, I say to improve our city, okay, the government needs to repairing the damaged roads, okay? Many of the roads are damaged, so they need repairing. Providing necessary services to, people, like electricity and water and other kinds of services. Planting trees and expanding green area, okay, to make the city, greener. Another suggestion is encouraging people to use public transportation, thus reducing pollution. Okay, encouraging people to use less, cars and to use less. So this makes, the air clean. This makes it clean instead of, dirty or polluted. Okay, guys, now you know how to do C. These are my, suggestions, and this is my opinion. So use your own opinion and write your own answer. Guys, we have something else. Okay, guys, and we have another topic, which is building vocabulary. And this one is word families. Okay, you all know what word family is. When you learn a new word or use your dictionary to learn other words in the same word family, that is word family. For example, look up pollution in your dictionary and you will find the verb pollute above it. To review the word families, okay, see Unit 2, page 25. You can go back to Unit 2, page 25. We had this topic. Pollute is the verb, pollution is the noun, okay? And this is the definition, and this, it has 2 definitions, and you can find, an example sentence below the definition. Okay, so you are already familiar with word family, okay? And so to find out the words you learn and the, word family, you have to use your dictionary. Okay, and by the way, this is a picture of pollution. Okay, do you see smoke coming out of that, tall tower? Okay, and that creates pollution in the air. Okay, now I want you to turn the page. Okay, and go to page 126. We have this, box, and your job is to open up your dictionaries and try to find, the noun of these verbs or the verb of these nouns, and sometimes they have adjective as well. Do you see these, empty spaces? You have to fill these empty, spaces. Look at the first one. Appear is a verb. It doesn't have an adjective, but it has a noun, appearance. Okay. Number 2, interest. Okay. It's a noun, and it also has a verb. Okay, and it also has an adjective, interesting and interested. Modern, it's an adjective, and the verb is modernize, but it doesn't have any noun. Okay. Number 4 is public. Public can be a noun and can be an adjective as well, but it doesn't have a verb. So you have to open up your dictionaries and search for these words and try to find, the verb or the noun. Okay? And you can do this. Use your dictionaries, and if you don't have, your dictionary, you can use, Google. You can Google it, and you can find, the other, word. Families. Guys, exercise B, okay, it says use the noun, the verb or adjective from exercise A. So you have to do this first, complete it, then you can go to this one. Okay? And it's okay. See, more than one answer may be correct. Maybe more than one answer here is correct. Like public, public. Yeah, it is repeated. Okay? Look at the first one. I like to relax in the park. It is a public place. Okay, so I borrowed public from this one. Okay, from this table. Look at number 2. Cars pollute the air and make it dirty. Cars cause pollution in the city. I borrowed pollution from, here. Okay, and pollution is the noun. What is the verb or what is the adjective? Look at the number 3, the post office and the library are modern buildings. Okay, I borrowed modern from here. Those buildings are open to the public 6 days a week. Public meaning the people. Okay, here it's a noun. Okay, so that means the people. Okay, guys, I want you to do the other 3. Okay, use your opinion, and I'm sure you can figure out the rest. Okay, guys, this is how we conclude today's lesson. Thank you very much for listening and watching this, and I very much hope that you all stay healthy and stay patient, okay, to get through this difficult time. And if you have any questions and any problems with the exercises, you can comment down below on the page, and I will be happy to answer you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.